I Get Inside Killers' Minds. Luigi Mangione's manifesto is a study of infamous monsters. Idolizing him is dangerous. The leading criminologist explains how the careful use of words in killers' manifestos serve to deceive the public. Standing just steps behind his target, the hooded gunman lifts his weapon with the poise of a professional hitman and fires multiple times. It's the chilling CCTV clip that has appalled and fascinated the public in equal measure. The murder of healthcare insurance CEO Brian Thompson, 50, in New York City, allegedly by Luigi Mangione. The supposed gunman, 26, was arrested 5 days later at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, allegedly with a gun, bullets, multiple fake IDs, and a stash of money. Since then, the world has been fixated on the motivations for such a dark crime, with it claimed Mangione was led by anger at America's healthcare industry. And now a document pertaining to his manifesto has been published online, with scores of internet sleuths devouring it and looking for answers. But amid the chaos, in an exclusive interview with The Sun, criminologist Dr. Jennifer Fleetwood warns of emboldening copycats by reading too much into a text full of the clichés of previous monsters. She cites the parallels between the so-called manifesto and those of infamous killers like the Unabomber, explaining that they all use topical issues to excuse horrific and irrational violence. People reading Mangione's manifesto, believing they will find what Mangione was really thinking or the real cause, won't get what they want, Jennifer tells The Sun. Believing you can work that out from his writings would be an absolute misreading of it entirely. Not a hero nor an anti-hero, this is just another violent man who thinks his violent rantings deserve our attention, our time and airtime. It all reminds me of the Son of Sam murders. There were laws brought in after to prohibit people from profiting off their crimes and gaining notoriety. Feared giving airtime to people like him could encourage other people to commit crimes for a similar kind of horrible internet fame. Around us, but we need to be careful, and perhaps shouldn't be rushing to read them or treating them as if they offer some insight into the mind of a killer. Obsession explains multiple vain killers have released manifestos in the past, ranging from Unabomber Ted Kaczynski to Isla Vista killer Elliot Rodger. The writings should not be given any power or acknowledgement and should be treated as nothing more than violent texts by abusive men. The criminologist, a senior lecturer at the University of Greenwich, who has written multiple books on killers, warns this obsession with criminals is part of an ever-growing trend, and with that come dangers. Men deserve our attention or airtime? Most people would say no. But there is a counter-argument that it's anti-democratic to censor, Jennifer explains. Believes that they have a right to know and investigate. I think that comes from true crime being normalized. That we, the public, have the capacity to understand, judge, and assess on actually quite complicated technical matters. That it is our job to decide if a person is guilty or not in the public court. A court of public opinion. Hours and hours of podcasts and online forums, where people revisit evidence trying to find things that the police missed the first time around when they are not necessarily qualified to do so. It's like with Jay Slater, people were flying out to Tenerife to go and look for him. It was the same with the Salisbury poisonings and Nicola Bulley. People went to investigate themselves. Copycats. Since the killing, some have backed Mangione's supposed anti-healthcare cause and also spoken of him favorably, labeling him the hot assassin. It's not an isolated case. Previously, Jeremy Meeks, a former member of violent U.S. gang the Crips, was glorified with the moniker world's hottest felon after his mugshot went viral in 2014. This happened despite him being a convicted criminal, later found guilty of grand theft auto and firearm possession too, and he was even awarded a modeling contract. Warning of the dangers of this idealization of crooks, Jennifer says, to be frank, labels like hot assassin could embolden others to act or encourage copycats. Concerningly, There has already been one copycat-style threat similar to the CEO killing Breonna Boston, 42 in Florida, allegedly told an operator for her healthcare insurer. Delay, deny, depose. You people are next. The 3D words she referenced were reportedly etched onto the casings of bullets fired at Brian Thompson, killing him last week. Jennifer continues, "We have to be so careful. Even the release of mugshots looks a bit like a freak show or entertainment, not part of the democratic process." Twisted playbook. Jennifer argues that many of the manifestos written by killers, like the one believed to have been penned by Mangione, all follow a similar playbook. Mangione was known to hold strong views against the healthcare system, and in the text, allegedly written by him, he decrees that CEOs in the industry are parasites. Jennifer says, the use of the word parasites is really common. You see that dehumanization often being used to justify violence. Comparing people to animals is well worn. It's come up time and time again, and often in conflicts and wars. Any animal metaphors are a red flag. She describes the Mangione manifesto as really cliché, not well written, and full of tropes violent men have written in manifestos. Among them is the power paradox, which Jennifer explains was a study about domestic abusers and how they describe themselves as honest, upstanding men with no choice but to engage in violence. She believes it's the same for these killers, adding, they depict themselves as both powerful and powerless, when actually they are not powerless at all really. They tend to be white men who are in a relative position of power and of privilege, all things considered. Fake underdogs. Jennifer references the Isla Vista killings murder Elliot Rodger, who slayed 6 and injured 14, in a vile shooting, stabbing and car-ramming onslaught in 2014, as well as Norwegian terrorist Anders Behring Breivik, a neo-Nazi who killed 69 at a summer camp and another 8 after detonating a van bomb. She says, Elliot Rodger describes himself as an underdog who's an incel. The Chads and the Stacys of the world are kicking him down. He's so powerless. But then also he goes and shoots lots and lots of people, which is an act of power. It's the same thing with Breivik and Tarrant, who spoke about the great replacement theory that whites would be replaced by non-white people. They then argue this is the only thing I can do as an act of righteous vengeance, because I'm so powerless. It's a really common theme, and they conjure it as a form of self-defense. But it's not self-important. Another unifying point of the manifestos and characters is that in the texts they are often self-aggrandizing and self-important, citing themselves as the only solution for a problem, and that their actions will be world-changing. Jennifer adds, a lot of these people see themselves as political activists. Like Breivik, they see themselves as heroes, anti-heroes, and saviors. They think they are political activists, but they are not. They don't deserve to be taken quite so seriously. It's telling that politicians don't tend to graduate into mass violence once they are frustrated with the system. There are other reasons why these men are violent, and it's not because politics sucks. Politics sucks for all of us, but we don't express it through violence.